Alright. You know what it is. I'm probably super late. It's tier list time, but let's do it up here. But I want to make this right now. It's late. I know how YouTube chapters work. I figured that out since the last time I've done this. So I'm doing one video instead of 3 separate videos, and it's all going to be all together. Make sure you don't skip to the end, or if you do, and you see something you don't like, go back and find where I talk about it, because where I talk about it is probably pretty important to what I think about it. So let's get right into it with... I am going to organize these by class. Alright, I got it all sorted out. Tanks. Angela, I'm putting an A tier. I think she's pretty balanced. She's pretty good too, especially with dive being really well. But I haven't seen her that much, so I can't say that she's like S tier, played every game, because she's not played every game. She's hardly ever banned from what I can see. So yeah. I think Strange is also A tier, but against the people who are also A tier, A tier and S tier, he just kind of... I'm going to put him top of A tier, because you want to play him over something like Mag most games. But, you know, there's just... You should play other tanks, and his shield does nothing against a lot of the other top tanks. Top tanks and top DPS, so there's that little problem. I think Cap is bad this season. I mean, the animation cancel got nerfed just due to what they did. I think the fix was fine, but getting rid of the animation cancel in the process really shot him in the foot. And then there's no real coming back from that unless they... Even with the increased damage fix that they have, he still does less damage overall, to which he was throwing pillows before, so... He's good if you're good, but you could just play Angela or any of the characters I'm going to mention. I think Emma's B tier. She's good, and the reduction to her diamond form cooldown and the diamond form and the alt changes are good for her. But this season especially, when is there going to be a dive, you shut it down, and then the enemy team's going to wait 15 seconds for you to dive again? When's it going to happen? It's not going to happen, ever. I'll just answer that question. It's really not going to happen. Hulk, I think, is so back. Genuinely, I used to think he was a throw pick, even up to last season. I think he's so back right now, because even if you stun him, there was a game where I went, okay, Thing's not really doing anything against him, because he'll just pop his bubbles so often, and then he can get out even without his jumps, because he has health pool, the Jeff, and his bubbles. So I started playing Penny, just like stun him down. I am insta stun. Every single 3 second cooldown I have, I stun him. Every single time. Never died. He died like twice, but only in full team wipes. He never died from over pushing or anything. There was just pretty much no way to kill him. And I think that is partially on the supports as well, but he also had his ult so fast. It was crazy work. Groot, I think, is S tier. I think he's the best tank in the game. And I know last season my opinion of him is farther down. But that was because I was like, oh, he's really good. But he kind of just forces the enemy team to play meta. If you're against him, you just play meta. You play poke characters, and poke was meta. And so, like, yeah, he just forces you to counter him, and then his counters are really good, so you just never really have to worry about it. But now he forces you to get off meta, because meta is pretty much brawl and dive. And so now you have to get off of that to counter him, and it's really good. Thing, I think, is B tier above Emma. He's not anti-dive, and I might make a video against that, but, like, he's brawl, he does really well against Thor, he does well against Hulk sometimes, but, like, because of how his slam works, and it knocks enemies up, there's no real... It doesn't really stop dive, right? See, it only stops a Black Panther if the Black Panther decides to go in there, and you can bait it out pretty easily, especially if they're waiting for it and they're tense and waiting for it. I know I am prone to just press the button when I think he's about to dive, because I can see him, I see him throw the spear, and I press the button, and then it doesn't happen. And it only stops the dive if your supports play inside of it, so that way they can. But then the dive goes in, and sure they can't get out, but they can still get a kill most of the time. Like, let's look at our divers. Black Panther won't be able to. Magic could still get a kill even without, like, if they were able to dash into it, but not dash out. He can still get a kill. Blade can definitely still get a kill even without his dash. Mr. Fantastic probably could. Wolverine still can. Like, Spider-Man still can because he never touches the ground. His dash pops you up, and by the way, that when you're popped up by his dash, you're not in the Earthbound area. There's a good portion of time, and me and my friend tested this with every character that had a dash because we were like, how do they keep getting out of this? You can just get away. Even Venom can just swing away or dive. He can just dive to somewhere else. Gives him a free dive, and then worst case scenario, you're running towards them and you hit them with the dash and with the slam, and they get popped up twice, and then they easy escape. So I think he's good, but only if you place the field down before they dive, so that way they run into it and don't get hit by the slam, and your supports play inside of it. And then if you do that, you have to be aware of when things are going to happen, so most of your time is spent in the back line with your supports, and then you put the slam down, and then you can get value on the front line, which means he doesn't get any value on the front line. He's just with his supports all the time, and it kind of feels like you're solo tanking. But he does do the job well, especially against uncoordinated dives. So he's not C or D, because when they're not coordinated, and a lot of times in ladder and like ranked, you're just not that coordinated. Thor, I think Thor's A tier, right with Angela, either above or below. He's just really good. He can kind of do everything that you want him to do. I'll do this. He kind of does everything you want him to. I'm doing this because I see him more often. I lose to it more often than I lose to an Angela. He just does everything. He can poke. He can dash. He can anti-dive. He can dive. He can disrupt with his shift again. Rogue, I'm putting in either B tier right here or C right there. I'm probably going to put her there because you could play Rogue, right? You could. Like, you could also just play Thor or Angela or Groot or Hulk or Groot or Venom, and I'll get to him in a second. And Rogue, like, just why would you play Rogue when you could play them? The biggest thing is she doesn't have a lot of tools to create bonus health for herself, and she doesn't have any sort of CC immunity. CC immunity, shield to block CC. He has an can't be moved ability when he's in his ult. He can generate a second health bar made entirely out of shield. He can at least ground or CC somebody else. She's built on CCing other people and has a shield to block CC, right? So there's counterplay with the CC in the game. She has nothing. Her block does not counter CC. The only thing in her kit that generates bonus health is her kicks after she does her E, which is a pretty long cooldown, and it's not typically used for the kicks. You use it for other stuff. At least when I play Rogue, that's what I do. So it just doesn't, like, sometimes I use it for the kicks, but I only use it for the kicks after I use it for the dash. I use it to dash, and then I line up as many kicks as I can, but still doesn't generate that much bonus health. You're better picking a different tank. I think Penny is probably C, right with or around Captain America. I'm going to do this because I'm biased. I think she's fine. She has the stun, she has the nest. The problem is in how the nest functions. It doesn't function in a way that really tells you can't go there. It just tells you, hey, don't go there right now, and let's look at all the characters that can destroy it without really taking the damage, because he can bubble it. And we're going to look at only dive characters, right? But he can bubble himself and take most of the damage just to the shield, and then doesn't really get affected by the burst damage in that way. He can destroy it from outside the range. He can destroy it from outside the range. You can destroy it without being in the nest. You can't, but you can weaken it. Generate 200 bonus health to tank the damage. You can tank it with a shield. These aren't even dive characters. Give me a second. You are too fast. Genuinely, Black Panther is too fast to be caught in the nest. Blade can destroy it with a shotgun. Daredevil can block everything with his right click. That gives him immortality because he needed that. Um, Iron Fist can block it with his immortality. Magic can destroy it from outside its range. Spider-Man doesn't have to touch the ground, so he's not really affected. Can destroy it from outside the range. And so, what dive character is she really stopping? Because she's not anti-dive. And so she can't really stop the dive characters, and since dive is meta, she's only really good on off angles, but if you're playing her on an off angle, you might as well just play a different character on an off angle. She kind of functions as a large DPS. I will say though, there are certain maps where I think it is beneficial to play Penny over other people because you can shut off lanes, and that can weaken their dive. Just shutting off lanes and saying, hey, you can't walk here. That can be pretty good. But most times, I don't think she's a throw pick because I will go ahead and add a row below and go throw pick. I don't think she's a throw pick, but I do think you shouldn't pick her. Like, I love her. I'm probably not going to stop playing her, but should play something else, which Strange is my next option, so whatever. I think Mag is also here. He works with everything, against everything. His ult is really good, especially if you can shut down another ult. Like, they go Star-Lord and Gambit. You can absorb most of Star-Lord, kill the Gambit. Massive value off of that, especially since the ult charge, the nerf of the ult charge, which was such a good nerf. He goes with and against everything. He just can't do the damage or knock people off of him, especially since we're brawling and we're doing... It's a lot of brawl, it's a lot of dive. Strange is more better equipped to handle that. And then DPS pool. I think he's the best. Might put him below because I don't see him that often. But when I do see him, he's always a pain in my ass, but he's never like winning the enemy team's games for them. Typically, I win games when I see him, but objectively, I know he's the best. I'm probably going to put him here. Like, just by watching... But in my rank, where I am, which is right now Diamond 1, because of the season reset, I mean, I don't see him that much. White Fox? Genuinely think White Fox is really good. White Fox is really good and really balanced, and that is a killer two-shot combo. It's a killer two-shot combo that she's really good and really balanced. I love her ult. It's so engaging. Adam, I think, is C. Loki. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Boop, boop. Put you there. I think Invis is balanced again. This is not a no-brainer. Jeff, let's look at the characters that are really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Jeff just heals them for free and helps with their kills for free. Really good against dive. When we're banning people, we go 1, 2, and then Cloak and Dagger also gets banned a lot. These three are super over... He's not really overtuned, but getting another one of these two ults is really overtuned. These two are overtuned, so when you ban these two and maybe that one, he just heals everybody for free, multiple people at a time, and helps with their kills. Invis, I think, is pretty balanced. Now you have to actually back away from a fight to heal yourself. Would have wished that the change was just, oh yeah, whoops, giving her a self-shield was too much, so we reverted her back to how she was, which was just taking away the self-shield, but they got the same change across regardless. I also think Luna's pretty balanced. The new buff where you get cooldown time off is actually better than I thought it was going to be. I think these three are pretty good. These two only in third support. Rocket just, I don't know. I don't see him as much, and when I do, he's only played in triple support. But he is kind of a monster right now. Because if you have aim, you absolutely smoke. And then your ult is so good, and it's so versatile. You can save people, you can also attack. I just think it's good. Same thing with him, pretty much. I am speedrunning this, so if you have... Because I have places to be. If you have other questions, just go ahead and comment, and I will get to you. I will answer all questions. I always read all the comments. And I always say that. I've always said that. Black Panther, I think, is A tier. Genuinely, because it's really easy to ban out of Thing Slam. It's really easy to not get hit by Penny's webs. Genuinely, the mines can't stop you depending on where they're placed. There's a lot of times where on certain maps, Penny just cannot stop a Black Panther. He's too fast to be hit by the mines. And yeah, so those are both of your really good anti-dive options. The only other options, like I think DPS should be doing anti-dive. Let's be so for real. But when you think anti-dive, you think these two characters, right? So they can't really do anything about it. And I think he's just really good just because of how fast he is. And it's now that it's neutral based, he's really good at pulling out other people's kits. And a lot of his cooldowns are super short. So you're a throw pick. I think Blade's S tier. It's crazy. The amount of times that I have been with my team, not even in a 1v1, and he just walks at me, and he applies anti-heal, so I'm not getting healed as much. He has a block to resist damage. He does get healing from his team and lifesteal. It feels like he does not die, and he just clatches onto me like a leech and sucks my health away. I don't know what to do about it. I think she is A tier, but still bannable. The ult is just really strong. I don't think she does that much with her primary anymore, which is thank God. But the ult is just so strong still. Daredevil, also S tier. Just like Panther, but can stay in the fight longer. He doesn't have to dip after using his cooldowns. His cooldowns are still just as short, only based on how much damage you deal. Does deal a lot of damage. Has invulnerability on a right click. That, yeah, it's got an energy bar, but doesn't really punish you for holding it, right? So whatever. Hawkeye, I think, is C tier, right? Because, oh no, let's look at all the characters I've placed higher than him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They all make his life hell. Like, you can play Hawkeye and you can get pretty good value, but as soon as the enemy team says, oh shit, their Hawkeye is kind of carrying, let's go dive him, you pretty much have to swap. That's pretty much how we counter him. You just say, I'm going to play it, and then he dies. I think Hela is B tier. Really strong, but mainly strong. I'm going to put her there, and then Namor. I'm actually going to swap him. Because I think she's really strong, but mainly for this team up with Namor. Namor is the one you need to be worried about. 1, because he's really good against dive, but 2, because he's really good with dive. If they're not running dive, and you're playing Namor, take an off angle. When your DPS go in, drop 2 squids, hit someone with a right click. Everyone's gonna die. You're gonna send your squids into berserk on that person, while the dive are taking out other people. You get headshots, you can keep them into berserk, you can keep them shooting people, they auto-lock, like, it's just pretty crazy. So I think he's really good. And then, with the team up, he gets even better, because he can just apply anti-heal on a 30-second cooldown to an entire group of people while doing a lot of damage. 2 squids anti-heal right-click, they are dead. They're not even, like, basically dead, they are dead. I think Torch is also pretty good. He's really good. Fairly balanced. Fairly balanced, quote-unquote. He's good, the shotgun is good, but without the animation cancel to make his hitbox shorter when you dive in, there's a higher chance you're going to die. So I don't really see him that often, and when I do, he doesn't really run the game, only if my Hela doesn't kill him, right? And there's so many times we'll get into a game and they'll be playing him, and we'll play Elsa or Hela, right? And I go, okay, well, we should be fine. Well, they'll end the game negative, and so he never dies, and so we get run down. But when that doesn't happen, he doesn't seem to run the game, even when we lose. I think Ultron, killing myself, I think Iron Man might be B tier instead of D or C. Just because not the armor overdrive buff that he got is enough to make it where, yeah, he's big and clunky, but if you're good and you get your kills, he's a real big threat. He's a really big threat. And also the Unibeam, especially in Armor Overdrive, is enough damage to kind of eviscerate most tanks. You know, he just does so much damage. So it's really good. especially when they are brawling and they won't if they don't have poke to take you down, which poke isn't very good meta right now, so they probably won't. It's not bad. I think Iron Fist is also B tier. Probably above Panther, actually. Same thing as Daredevil, where gets all the cooldowns out. He has really good in-game, like in your games. He's really good at the neutral. He doesn't die as often. He can stay in longer. He can self-heal on off angles, pulling attention there if they can see it. And then he just doesn't have to back out. Like, as good as I think Black Panther is at getting out those cooldowns, because I think Black Panther is better, these two can stay in the fight longer. And I think that makes them more valuable. Same thing with Magic. I think Magic's the same thing at that, but better. I want to say she's better than Daredevil, but I don't know because I don't see her that often. Mr. Fantastic, I think is A tier, but barely. I think he's barely A tier because he's really good at stopping dive and hindering dive characters. That's pretty much it. I used to think he was bad, but I mean, Brawl and Dive is in, and so he's kind of in too. Wolverine, really, really fucking good. Because you play him with Phoenix, and Phoenix is just not meta, but she would be good if she was meta. She didn't get changed that much. But you play these two together, and Wolf gets overheal, lifesteal, plus take damage on his leaps, and not like he needs any of that, because him on his own, he can shred 1, 2, like a lot of these tanks, he's just really good at shredding. And if you play any of the tanks below, the fuck, you might as well die. You might as well just be dead when you see him like walking out of spawn. And even Penny, right? I can like bait him in the mines and stun him, do as much as I want, but pretty much as long as if he has that passive, I'm dead. Like I can stun him, get him in the mines, 400 damage. Boom. But then he's got another health bar. And he either leaves and he'll come back before my nest has fully set up again to where I can hit him with the 400 burst damage in the nest, or he just comes back when his passive is built up, or takes me out of my mines, of my webs, instead of into them. Like, they get smarter. They don't just do the same thing over and over. Moon Knight, I think, is B tier. He's really good, especially in the lower ranks, but he kind of gets pressured by Spider-Man. Very heavily, to the point where you pretty much can't play him sometimes unless you're just the GOAT. Because a lot of his movement, almost all of his movement, is straight up or up at an angle using the grapple. Even if you grapple straight down, it's hard to grapple outwards and move out super fast away from Spider-Man. You pretty much can't. And that's just super annoying to deal with. So, Psylocke, I think is real. I didn't even talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Psylocke, really good at neutral play. Psylocke's cooldown's coming out faster. She feels like she did in Season 0, kind of, but not overpoweredly so. She doesn't feel like an ult farm bot anymore, which means she can actually play the game how it's intended, and maybe she might be higher, but I don't see her that often. Spider-Man, super crazy mobility, I might put him up here. I'm putting him down here because I don't see very many good ones who do what I'm talking about, but on paper, he should be here, if not here. If not there. But I'm putting him there because super good mobility. He can get anywhere in the game anytime he wants to. He has a one-shot combo on anybody as long as there is a ledge in the map. Not if you're playing near a ledge, if there is a ledge in the map. If there's a ledge relatively near point. Those times where I've been taken like 30 meters from where I'm standing to a ledge and I die for it. Nothing I could have done about it, but he has a one-shot combo, essentially. A one-shot on any character. Oh boy. And then he has super cool combos, super fast. Even if you don't get the kill, you're probably forcing out some type of utility, which gives your team the edge. He has really fast cooldowns, except for his get over here. Everything else is a really fast cooldown, which means he can stay in the fight. The better you are, the more you can stay in the fight. The worst Spider-Men right now are the ones who get a kill or get a pick and then wait and don't do anything else. You can bait out cooldowns in that time, you can do so much, but they don't do anything, right? And that's the worst kind. But if you are good and you stay in the fight and you keep baiting out cooldowns, your team has so much more of an edge over them. And he's just super good for that reason. I think Punisher, probably right here. Just shotgun. The shotgun is broken to the point where you just chunk Tank's health. You can one-shot pretty much any squishy in the game. Anybody who's not a tank, you can one-shot pretty much all of them. You can chunk Tank's health without even hitting headshots for the most part. There's a lot of times where there'll be a Jeff and a Punisher, and Punisher's just walking at them with a Jeff behind him. Jeff's not even looking at the Punisher when I'm watching Jeff's POV. Jeff's looking at like their Hulk or their Venom in the back line, but the Punisher's just walking forward with a shotgun. Pow, pow, pow. And that's strange. I can't get away. I'm trying my best. I have to back the fuck out of there because I can't kill him fast enough. He just happens to be standing right in front of the Jeff. There's nothing you can do about it. That shotgun is crazy. Wanda's like B tier, maybe C. She's fine. Not much else to say. I mean, they gave her fall off, which, while it makes her more skillful, I mean, she can't counter dive as well because the whole point was like, oh, I don't even have to aim at them. I don't have to focus about hitting my shots. I can really just stun lock them with the E and just take away their health, and they have limited time in the back line. Unironically, I think Squirrel Girl's much better this season, though. Because if you don't waste your double stun, you can double stun a Hulk, absolutely shred him. Double stun a Venom, absolutely shred him. Double stun a Deadpool, absolutely shred him, and so on and so forth. And all of these characters, that stun is so powerful, especially when you do 110 damage per shot. Especially if someone on your team is Punisher with a shotgun. It fleshes so well with so many of these other characters, as long as you can land those right clicks. Star-Lord, I think, is really good. Probably about there for me. Or there. Really good at baiting out cooldowns. All the same things, except he has the ability to poke. He has the ability to poke. He can play from range. He doesn't have to be in their face like a Deadpool or a Blade or a Spider-Man. But, I don't know, I just don't see him that often, and when I do, he doesn't seem to run lobbies. Like, I've seen Wolverines that run lobbies, I've seen Daredevils that run lobbies, but I just don't see it from Star-Lord, so in my own experience, I have to say, I don't think he's as good as them. Storm, I think is fine. Probably better than Iron Man, but they got rid of Jeff Nato. I still think this team up is in the game, but it's really not crazy because I feel like his ult is better at controlling space without doing that. Once you start eating his tornadoes, they kind of lose the ability to control space. So, yeah, I don't know. Bucky, though. I'm putting Bucky here. I might reorganize some of this. No, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm putting Bucky here, probably there. He just has so many CCs. It doesn't, in this game, having a CC, a crowd control, doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like a given, right? It feels like, oh, why don't you have a crowd control? Characters who don't have a crowd control feel like, oh, they're bad because they don't have one. Like Iron Man doesn't have one. He's not as good. Storm doesn't have one. Hela has one. You have one. But, like, they're bad for other reasons, right? He just has so many, though. He can slow you down. He can ground you. He can pull you. He can two-tap almost any of the squishy characters in the game who would be diving. Genuinely a menace. And the only reason why I don't think he's higher is because of the skill cap and the skill ceiling. It's really hard to hit your pull on a dashing Black Panther. If they're playing Daredevil and they know what they're waiting for, they know what they're listening for, they're going to get pulled and then immediately hit their invincibility right click. And it's not going to do much, right? I think I just think he's not as good because the divers are better. Most of the time, you're not going to be doing crazy shit to a Spider-Man. I'm certain it's possible, and if I'm proven wrong, I could put him higher up, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it happen consistently. That's the word. I haven't seen it happen consistently. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, Again, I have places to be. I'm a busy guy. So if you have comments on it, leave those below. If you like watching it, or just like listening to me yap, this is a bit faster. I'm typically slower. Uh, Drop a follow. Follow. Killing myself. Subscribe. And I'd love to see you around. See ya.